don't think we can get away without talking about this Dokken thing, can we?
Yeah. Hey, it's just, but go ahead.
Well, let me play the bumper, and then we'll get to it. Let's hang tight. Here it is. It's time to talk Dokken.
Hey, it's been 5 minutes, and it's time now for Neeley to talk Dokken on the Classic Metal Show.
Now, I got to ask you, Neeley, straight up. Did something happen here? And you don't have to say what if you know, but did something happen here in the last month between Lynch and Don?
Not that I'm aware of.
So then why the hell is he popping off like this, Lynch?
He can't help himself.
You think that's it? He just can't have... Look, I'm not even saying that he's wrong because I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if he stole a song from Judas Priest or not. I find that hard to believe given that Don is constantly writing songs, or has been up until his hand got fucked up.
Well,
But
even then, he wrote Heaven Comes Down.
Mm-hmm. True. So, I saw this and I thought, quite honestly, I thought it was AI bullshit at first until I started seeing it in like regular places.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just was like, wait a minute. This guy is still playing shows with Don.
What? I just think it's just a way of staying in the news and, keeping that controversy alive, because if anyone would know better than me, I am out with Don a dozen times a year.
That's what I'm saying.
And George is opening with Lynch Mob or closing the show with 3 or 4 songs, 8 out of those 12 shows.
Mm-hmm.
And I see George. I talk to George. He's hanging out in the dressing room with everybody. Don and George chatted up like normal. No animosity there. No shit talking. In fact, George literally lives just an hour away from Don in New Mexico. And in fact, the last gig that Don had with George actually drove Don home and dropped him off on his way to his house from the airport.
Do you think he was yelling at him about, man, you sound just like Donald Trump, you piece of shit?
No. All I know is that as far as writing an EP together, so playing some songs together.
Yeah.
Don basically said that basically told him, and I was there when he said it to him. He said, no slight against you, George. He says, but if we do something together, it's got to sound like a Dokken record. He says, It can't, he goes, I know you write and all these other things, but it's got to sound like Dokken. It can't be anything but.
Right.
And that's the only thing that I know that was said.
You think that pissed him off to where now he's spouting off?
Maybe. I don't know. I don't know that to be the case, but all I know is that, the question is, and it's come up on a few occasions, as far as fans go and talking, they go, well, when Dokken broke up in 88 and Lynch Mob went out, George Lynch and Mick Brown formed Lynch Mob, and they did, their first 2 records there with Oni Logan and Robert Mason. Didn't sound anything like Dokken.
Right.
But Don put out Up From the Ashes, sounded like a Dokken record.
Yeah. Most people don't even know the difference, really.
Right. And, I've heard fans over the years ask Don about that. They go, well, if George claims he wrote all these songs and blah, 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 how come the Lynch Mob stuff never sounds like Dokken?
Right. Sure.
And Don's answer, which kind of makes sense, it goes, because I didn't write them.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
I mean, if you listen to a Lynch Mob record, you know, the early ones.
Yeah, Wicked Sensation or whatever, you don't hear any Dokken at
You
all.
don't sound Dokken at all. I mean,
No.
you hear George, but it doesn't sound like a Dokken record. And then you listen to Up From the Ashes, and it sounds like a Dokken record.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, the only thing that sounds Dokken-y at all is the tone.
Right.
Lynch's tone. Because Lynch has a very distinct tone or sound or whatever. But
of course, he's got a recognizable sound to his playing.
yeah.
But again, when they were discussing, you know, doing a few songs together, Don was just like, you know, it's got to sound like Dokken. It can't sound like Lynch Mob or something that doesn't even sound like Lynch Mob or Dokken.
Right.
You know, that's the only thing. And then again, Don's refusal to quote unquote tour with Lynch, I think that gets under his skin as well. And I think there's a lot of maybe in hindsight, maybe there's a lot of regret that things with the Dokken thing happened the way it did, because they were right on the cusp of being an arena headliner.
Sure.
When they broke up. And I think maybe looking back, it's like, well, if I hadn't been so difficult to deal with.
You think Lynch feels this way or Don feels this way?
No, Lynch.
Okay.
Because I know Don, I know where Don's at, because Don's had a fairly successful career with the Dokken lineup as well as his solo band when it was the Don Dokken band before he was able to regain the use of the name Dokken as an entity. You know, so he did okay, because that Up From the Ashes, I think Geffen gave him $2 million for that record.
Oh, wow.
You know, and I don't think Lynch made that kind of scratch on his Lynch Mob records.
No, probably not.
You know, and then Don toured Japan mostly, and you know, he toured with that record in that lineup, and they did pretty well. They had MTV videos and all kinds of stuff. So it wasn't I don't think it was to the extent of, you know, the popularity of Dokken, but he did okay under the Don Dokken logo. You know, until he was able to regain the Dokken name back. Right. When you know, the most popular lineup of the four got back together in '94 and put out Dysfunctional.
Right. All right. Well, let's go through these accusations.
I know.
Lynch.
I'll be seeing Don in 2 weeks.
All right.
And I think George is playing that show too.
Boy.
so don't think that I'm not going to ask the question.
Make sure your recorder's on your phone.
It's like, why is it that you always have to shit talk Don? Yeah. Always.
Well, make sure you record that.
You know, I got to give Don credit for basically saying that the reunion thing that they did in 2016 was chiefly his fault, that it didn't turn out very well. Yeah. And I know the whole drama that happened behind the scenes on that, and it was just like, boy, that was not good.
Yeah, you should be happy you got those 5 shows or whatever it was.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
See, these things here that Lynch said would be deal breakers. I can't believe Don is still willing to play shows with him.
No, believe me, it doesn't go over well, but Don is more into, I'm just trying to keep the peace.
No, I get that, but there's a difference between a lot of the mud that gets thrown between these two guys and this. This is a lot harder accusations here.
I read it today.
I'm like, what the hell? I'll just rip through them and we'll go over them. The first one is that Don stole one of George's songs. I remember playing a gig at the Starwood, and Don's band Airborne was up there on stage, and they were playing what sounded exactly like one of our songs called Night Boys. And he was saying it was his song, so he plagiarized it. And we were like, what the fuck? Lynch recounted.